Hey everyone, and welcome back to Hot Messy Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Barrett. I am super excited for today's show because one of my friends is here, Vince Hill-Bedford, who just came off of playing an amazing role on TV. And I'm sure if you watch Netflix, you saw him. He played one of Jeffrey Dahmer's victims in Dahmer, the Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer Story by Ryan Murphy. And he played opposite Evan Peters, who played Jeffrey Dahmer himself. I'm going to dissect what it was like to audition for a Ryan Murphy project and what it was like to play opposite Evan Peters. You know, Evan and some of his co-stars have said that, you know, he went into kind of a dark, crazy space to play this role. I mean, to play Jeffrey Dahmer, I could only imagine. And as you know, Evan Peters just won a Golden Globe last week for his performance in this role. So really excited to talk to Vince about that, his career, what keeps him inspired as an actor, especially a young actor in Hollywood. It's like, okay, going from project to project, it's like, what keeps you motivated? What keeps you focused? What keeps you inspired? I think those are some great questions to ask Vince. So before we get started, if you're watching here on YouTube, hit that like button. It helps us out so much. If you're listening on the podcast, go ahead and leave us a 5-star review. That helps us out so much. And thanks for being here. Now, without further ado, let's jump straight in with Vince. All right, Vince, welcome to the show. I'm so happy to have you here, only because out of all of the people that Adam and I encountered, hung out with, and knew in Los Angeles, your light just shined a little bit brighter. So thank you for gracing us with your presence here today.
No, thank you for having me. I'm so excited. It's been a while since I've seen you and talked to you guys, and I'm absolutely stoked to have you ask me to be on here. This is exciting. It's good to see you too, man. You're looking good, looking real good. So
good to see you. And just watching your whole success in the past few months and seeing you on our television it's kind of surreal, you know, because I have to start off by telling people how we know each other, only because anybody who watches Adam and anyone who listens to this podcast knows who Lisa Vanderpump is. And we used to work together at Pump, which is crazy.
We did, yeah.
It's crazy. Well, Vince, I want to jump right in because you're a young, talented actor in Hollywood right now.
Thank you.
And I always wonder when, you know, I meet someone in LA or someone in the industry, what brought you to Los Angeles. So if you could give us and the listeners a little bit of a background about where you're from and what brought you to LA.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first off, my name is Vince Hill-Bedford. Jason is an amazing guy. You guys already know. But yeah, we've known each other for quite a long time. But thank you again for having me. Yeah, so a little bit about my story. It's kind of a very interesting one. I'm from West Des Moines, Iowa. Grew up in West Des Moines, obviously. Went to high school and then graduated. And my plan was to study kinesiology in college and become a physical therapist. Obviously, things took a crazy turn. And so at the time, I was represented in Iowa with the only one agency that they have. And I was doing like a bunch of print work for them. And eventually, they invited me to a competition in New York called IMTA. So it's like a model and acting competition.
Yeah. Actually, Adam did IMTA.
Did he really?
That's what took him to Los Angeles.
Holy
yeah.
Shit. Okay. Yeah. So same thing, essentially. Yeah. And mine was in New York. And we went with a couple of guys from Iowa as well. And we actually ended up doing pretty well. And so we got signed out here in LA with modeling agencies. So we all moved to North Hollywood, 3 of us in a 2-bedroom apartment. And it was like me and my buddy Carson, single beds in 1 bedroom. It was absolutely ridiculous, but it was a fun time.
The LA story.
Yeah, exactly. Typical. And yeah, so I was just like modeling for about a year. Wasn't really going according to plan or like how I wanted to. And like a lot of people that move out here, you know, expecting things to happen and it just, you know, sometimes doesn't. But my roommate at the time was like, yo, you should come check out this acting class. And I was like, I had no intention of being an actor at the time either. But I was like, screw it. Let's just go check it out. And it's called audit. That's what it means, is to go sit in on a acting class. And this one, what I thought from what audit means is you just sit down, you just watch everyone. You don't personally like go up and perform. But this coach in particular was like, nope, if you come in, you got to go on stage. And I'm like, holy shit.
Oh, wow. So you really are auditing the class,
legit
auditing how you would
class,
feel to be a student.
Exactly. And I have zero experience, zero talent whatsoever. I don't know what I'm doing. And so eventually I go up there and I do my thing, and it's audition technique night. So they give us, 2-3 pages, and the guys go outside and like memorize the scene and everything. The women go outside, memorize the scene, and then it's like a competition where we all go against each other and they decide who was the best. And so after a couple people went, I went up and did my spiel. And afterwards, the coach is always like, so how do you think you did? And I was like, my first time, I think I did okay, and he was just like, that was fucking awful. And I was like, okay, all right. Yeah, it's the first time I've ever been told like I am so terrible at something.
Here I'm expecting you to like say, oh man, it went amazing. I got bit by the bug. Now I want to be an actor.
Exactly. And I was like, no, that was great. I thought, yeah, it was great for your first time. Like, no, keep going. And it was the opposite of that. And I was like, holy shit. Okay. So I'm just starting like sweating like crazy, nervous. But ironically, it was like the best experience I've ever had. It was the most alive I ever felt. And I felt so accomplished, even though I did so shitty, at this thing. And yeah, I walked out of that room and I fell in love with it. I thought it was the most, fun experience and what I want to do. And it really hit me that night, to be honest. And yeah, never looked back from there. And it's been a slow journey since then, but yeah, some good things have happened, and very blessed and grateful for it. But yeah, just on to the next.
I love that story about the audit.
Yeah,
that's freaking cool. I think not recently, but Jason Bateman has said before, if you look at the industry as this next job could change my career and my life, and you look at it that way instead of, because, actors get told no constantly. Like, I mean, how many auditions have you been on? And it's like, we like you, but, or, you know what I mean? So like, you're always looking at that. And then like, when you work in a restaurant where we met, it's like everyone is a fucking actor, so it's like
everyone you walk into.
And you're like, okay, great. But, honestly, and I don't want to sit here and like just compliment you, but honestly, you do have and did have something about you when I knew you. And I'm so glad to see that kind of come to fruition. Now, recently you appeared in a Ryan Murphy project called Dahmer, the Jeffrey Dahmer Story, which was insane. Like I said earlier, it was so surreal to see you on our screens.
Thank you. Yeah.
First of all, congratulations.
Thank you so much, man. Yeah, that was
second of all,
freaking wild.
How did that come about? How did that audition come about?
I don't. So this is the first time, like, I've gone out for some big people, but like Ryan Murphy alone was, top of my list that I want to work with. Obviously, American Horror Story is incredible, and I've been such a big fan, especially Evan Peters too. I saw him like the first time in 2008 in Never Back Down. He was just playing the funny, sidekick character, and I loved him. And I followed his career since then. And obviously what he did in American Horror Story is absolutely incredible. And so one day I'm just in my living room, just for anyone that doesn't know, you have an agent. When you get an audition, they submit you for the audition. If the production company or casting director accepts you, then you get the audition sent to you. So I was just at home, got the email, and I saw Ryan Murphy, and then I saw Monster, Jeffrey Dahmer Story. I'm like, oh shit, okay. And then I see it's Evan Peters attached to it. I'm like, oh shit, okay. I got to do some work here. And I saw the character breakdown, what it was about exactly. And I'm me, like, obviously I have a girlfriend. I'm not, I'm a straight guy. So like getting this breakdown, I was like, how am I going to,
play this gay role?
Yeah, which I've never did before. But then it was more of like, okay, awesome. This is what I want. These are the challenges that I want. And the point is to be something you're absolutely not, and just really go for it and, bring this character to life. And the story is obviously very sad. And then I had to catch myself, like, really thinking about what we're actually doing here. And I just wanted to come at the character, with the best intentions and, give him a life for people to see and be like, no, he was a good person, and this just tragic thing happened. So
What
yeah, all of this
that's a crazy role to play a victim of Jeffrey Dahmer.
it was kind of, I mean, and it's also like a in a pickle situation where it's like, this is my dream, this is what I want to do, but then you got to take on some roles and some material that's really heavy, and try to go through this obstacle course of not upsetting people, or you try to do it the right way. And but yeah, so I got this audition. I know this is like, I'm talking about stuff after this audition, but
this is great.
got the audition, and I did it, and I really was just like, F it, I'm just gonna go for everything. I had to do some dancing in this thing, and I just didn't care. I was just going for it and had a blast doing it. And 2 days later, I'm at Pump. Actually, I'm working, and my agent is calling me, so I'm like running back to the laundry room, the little silverware room.
Yeah.
Answer it, and he's like, dude, you got it. And I'm like, wait, God, what?
Man.
I think I had like 2 other auditions that week. So I was like, I'm praying it's that one though. And he's like, you got Dahmer. And I just started immediately like crying. It was just such a, I don't know, it was such a,
Matt, I get chills when you're telling me that. Like, it
was insane.
No one else deserves that more than you do, for sure.
Thank you so much.
That audition process, I guess, for you, I mean, did you said, you went for things, you had fun, but was the pressure there because of knowing who you were going to play opposite of, and that it was a Ryan Murphy project?
Yeah, I think at first it was just pressure on because it was Ryan Murphy, and the pressure of an actor when you get an audition is you just want to get the role right. You're not really thinking necessarily of everything until you get that role, and then you can put all the pieces together. So I wasn't really thinking of the whole story as what it is at the time. So I was just like, shit, I got to do good for Ryan. I want him to see that I'm talented, or just to get in front of his.
It's a good radar to be on.
Exactly. So that was my goal initially, and then once I got it, it turned to the opposite, where it was like, okay, now I know what this is exactly about, who I'm playing, and I want to do justice by him in the best way possible. And, he was a gay dude from the Midwest that was a professional dancer. I had no dancing experience. So that audition, that's why I went up to one of my coworkers and showed him my tape, because I was like self-conscious about it. I'm like, it was Ben actually. I was like, yo, is this like good dancing? And he kind of like made fun of me a little bit. He's like, nah, I mean, you're close, but no, that's not how, gay guys dance. I was like, okay, all right.
He should have taken you next door to the Abbey and like given you a
exactly
dance.
Something like that. Yeah. But then I got it. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, then I got it, and they got me a choreographer, thank God, because I have 2 left feet. So everything you see in the club was just a whole routine, that we worked with. And the choreographer was amazing. She was so great, and really, really worked with me. And I'm just so happy that she was there, because she's what made that whole dance scenario the thing it is. So
that's funny, man. That's actually really, I was going to ask you too, I mean, I know you're straight, and Adam used to work with your girlfriend. I love her to death. She's fantastic. Beautiful, by the way.
Loves you.
But, I was going to ask, playing, you could have fooled me, basically. Like,
thanks, man.
I couldn't believe who I was watching. I was like, that's not Vince, like you pull off the gay role very, very well. And I was going to ask, did it help at all from your experience working at Pump, where you
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You get a lot of great advice.
Yeah, it was just like little, because I mean, I can catch on mannerisms. I really wanted to work on mannerisms, and I changed the octave in my voice a little bit, just to alter it just a little bit, just so I could stay in that character. I didn't do it necessarily as a character trait, but it was more for me to stay into the movements that I was doing. And it was just like, subtle hip placement movements or whatever. I was thinking of like every aspect that I could stay in this as much as possible and just really go for it. And so I definitely used little tips and tricks from the coworkers at Pump. Yeah.
I'm telling you, like, watching you dance, I was really impressed, and I didn't know you could dance like that. But then now that you're telling me you had a choreographer, that's awesome. But she did a good job, but you did a good job because you got to be there to pull it off as well.
Thank you so much.
I have to ask you, what did your girlfriend think of this whole thing? Did she
loved
thought
it.
it was just awesome?
Yeah, well, she's like a huge Ryan Murphy fan. She was here when he got his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. She was like watching it, and she's been obsessed with American Horror Story and Evan Peters. So she was like more gung ho than me. Like even after the certain scenes in Dahmer, she was like just elated that, I was working with him and doing the things that, we were doing together. And yeah, she loved it. She loved every second of it. And she was a very big fan of my dancing as well. So
I bet. I think we all are at this point.
Thank you so
and
much,
anyone
man.
who's seen that, you were definitely the most, with not taking the story, stepping out of the story a little bit, because it's a real, it's crazy that this is a real story and this is stuff happened, right? Yeah. So that's something to I don't want to step on any toes or anything like that. Yeah. But so last week, we all know Evan Peters won a Golden Globe for his performance and portrayal of Jeffrey Dahmer, which is freaking awesome. So and he said, and a lot of his other co-stars also said, that he went into a really dark, deep place to play this role, which I could only imagine. Yeah. Did you feel that from him while filming with him? Yeah, it's interesting. So the first day we shot the intro to the hotel. So when we walked through the lobby the first day, and prior to filming that scene, I got taken into holding, and that's where he was too. So holding is just like a separate room off to the side where we can chill before the scene starts. And so I'm sitting there. That was the first time I've seen him. So I was like, holy smokes, okay. You could tell he had his AirPods in and, just sitting face down. And I was like, all right, I'm just not gonna, say anything, wait till the scene's over. Cause that was the only scene I had that day. So I'll just introduce myself at the end. And that's what I did. So you never talked to him before?
Not that day, so not before then, but you could tell, like when you set foot on set, he was in it. And that was the last thing I wanted to do was, take away anything from him. Cause you could tell, obviously he put in that much work and preparation. Yeah. And so then we shot the scene, and then afterwards we introduced him. So nice. He is the nicest dude ever. Like absolutely ever. But you could tell, like when he's working, I don't bother him, and he's like in it. And but also like a couple days, I think we shot like 5 days, and I think the 4th day was my birthday. And after we shot a really intense scene, they all like came around and sang happy birthday. And Evan was one of them. I was like, what is my life right now?
Yeah.
But then after like the days of shooting, we obviously got to talk more, and he got, I think my last day we ended, after that scene, it was like the day was over. So you could tell that he kind of got it off his shoulders a little bit, and we're in the van, and we were just talking in the van all the way back to the trailers. And that was the first time we actually like got to sit down and have conversation. And he's just the nicest, humblest dude. Like you wouldn't be able to tell. He doesn't have that like chip on his shoulder or anything. He seems like the most normal guy, and he's awesome. From all of the roles he's portrayed, from all of the roles he's done on American Horror Story, you would think he'd be, you say that, right? Yeah, exactly. But he's just the polar opposite. He's just so awesome and kind, and I'm so happy for him. He absolutely deserved everything that he's going to get from this role. But it was definitely you could tell it took a toll, though. I mean, with that kind of energy and all that. But everyone was really good about it, and everyone was super positive, trying to just do the best that they can, and everyone crushed it. Honestly, it was the best experience I've ever. It really, it was hard to turn off. There was some like American Horror Stories, or there was some Ryan Murphy things where I'm like, oh, okay, I can't watch. You know what I mean? Yeah. This just really had, and I think it's because it's a true story. Everyone knows who this guy is. Yeah. Also, I was reading too that Evan Peters got kind of a little bit of shit and flack thrown his way because during his acceptance speech, he didn't mention the victims of Jeffrey Dahmer, which I thought was so interesting because I'm like, well, he's an actor playing the role, but I don't know, it's such a balance. But did you think that he needed to do that in this moment? I mean, especially as you said, this took a toll on him. I didn't think he had a very short speech anyway. Yeah, I think that's just him in general, short and sweet, and wanted to just, accept. I don't know, man. That's a tough. Even the way he took it and stuff like that. I didn't see him actually win it. I just saw that he won. Okay. On the internet. Yeah, so I didn't watch the video at all.
Yeah, he said
I don't know.
it was a hard story to watch and a hard story to play. So thanks for everyone for watching it and getting through it. But I didn't think he deserved a lot of the flack that he got, after that.
Yeah, I haven't seen any. I'm not like too on the social media. I haven't seen any of that.
Good for you. Stay away from it.
Yeah, I know. I try to, because I mean, yeah, I'm not. I don't get it, especially even at Pump when we worked together. I stayed away from everything, and yeah, I didn't see it. I don't know.
That's interesting. So like a lot of people say, in this industry, you're only as good as your next role, right?
Yeah.
And what are some of the challenges that you face personally, being kind of a young actor? Your day in and day out to try to find like the next role or some longevity in this career, because this career can be very fruitful at times, but at the same time it can, be pretty challenging. So how do you keep yourself busy? How do you keep yourself focused? And how do you keep yourself inspired?
Absolutely. I think it's just, everything in life. It's keeping your head up and pushing through regardless of the obstacles. I mean, everyone goes through major challenges, and especially in their career or their personal life. It's all what I do. I mean, this industry is absolutely crazy, and it's 99 no's for maybe that one yes, or it's 999 no's for that one yes, and that's what we're all fighting for. It's just that one yes. Give us a chance, and pray that it's this thing that's going to project us to, where we want to be. And that's not the case. I even for Dahmer, that could not be the case. Like, who knows? I may never work with Ryan again or whatever. That's just the risk that we take. And, you just got to keep working hard in everything. Absolutely. I get like auditions all the time. I'm like, you know what? This might not be the thing that's going to do it, but I'm going to work my craft. And I think you take that with anything, whatever career you're in, just keep your head down, work hard, and
keep pushing.
Do it for yourself. Keep pushing. Yeah. Do it for yourself. Don't do it for anyone else. You're not going to get anywhere if it's for other people. So
it's kind of humbling to hear stuff like that, because you hear a lot of actors, especially ones, not to put anyone down, but people who don't necessarily work a lot or audition a lot. They're like, oh, I would never do that role, or I would never do this.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself saying yes to a lot of things?
I do, especially in the beginning. I kind of felt like I had to, because you need credits in this industry to really like prove to people and that you've done stuff. And in the beginning, I didn't have any of that, so I was doing short films. I was doing whatever I could to, work on my craft or get that credit on my IMDB. So that next audition I get, people can go to my page and be like, okay, no, he's done stuff, and, we can trust him a little bit. So that's the game you got to play. And then, I don't know, now I'm like even for Dahmer, like some people don't want to take on a gay role. And I've always been like, F that, I'm an artist. If it's, as long as it is, pure and it's a story that means a lot, that's what I care about. So if I'm that guy to, tell that side of the story, shit, choose me, I'll fucking do it. Absolutely.
Yeah, because you want to jump into the role as real and as present as possible, right?
And
so
Dahmer,
you want to
like mecca of me to prove that I can do this, and I was like, what better show or film? And I've had auditions for other stuff that I'm just like, it wasn't necessary for me. I felt like, someone else could do that one. I want to be a part of something like, really important and big if I were to take on a challenge like that. And Dahmer turned out to be that, which was awesome. And just so grateful for Ryan to have me be a part of it. So
it's as I said, Vince, it's much deserved. I promise you guys.
Thank you so much.
If you know who Vince is and you get to know him, you will. This is funny that you mentioned that. Like, not a lot of people want to maybe play a gay role, like a straight person. And right before we jumped on here, I was talking about like how great you would be in Yellowstone. There has to be a role for you in Yellowstone moving forward. Now, there is an actor.
I'm an Iowa boy at heart, I'm a
hello.
So a horse, man. Yeah. That's all I want. Something like that. Yeah. Give me a cowboy hat, a freaking revolver. We're chilling.
There's an actor actually on Yellowstone. He's one of the main actors, and I no names or no roles or anything like that, but he actually did turn down a very big role because he would have to play gay, and it's something that he didn't want to do. So I kind of give you a lot of props for jumping into something like that, for portraying it so well, so respectfully, and just like so fun. It was
Thank you
so
so much. That's what I wanted to do. I also like, obviously, being a straight guy playing a gay guy, I didn't want to, I didn't want anyone to think of me as a bad person, like taking someone else's, role or anything like that. And I just tried my absolute best. I had a blast doing it, and I knew I had to have that mindset. Go in there, have fun, give this guy, the best possible, vibe that I could. Because I didn't really have that much information on him. So I wanted him to feel like a free soul that, was very loving and welcomed the world, with open arms. And I hope that came across.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. So now, after all of this, what do you jump back into now? Like what is next, and how do you keep kind of moving to get to the next thing?
Yeah, it's kind of like a lot of sitting and waiting game, because you wait for auditions, but then luckily with, the success of Dahmer and some other things that I've been in, some people that I worked with previously have messaged me with some projects that they're thinking of having me be involved in. So that's absolutely awesome. So we're going to wait and see. I have a project that might be happening now. Got a film coming out, I think, in a couple months. It's called Man Son, but I think they're changing the name, so don't quote me on that. It's just getting auditions and just working my ass off on them. And hopefully, it's the next thing that, fits perfectly. That's another thing. It's like, it's got to fit. You go into, like, pre-COVID, you go into an audition room and there's, 30 dudes that look just like you. And all the auditions are kind of sounding the same. So you got to adjust, because you can hear them in the other room and you're like, no, that actually doesn't sound that good. So you're like, weaving your way through. But now it's just all self-tape. So it's like, there's no personable conversation prior to the audition. So they don't know how you are really as a person.
Do you think that works better?
I liked auditioning in the room, because I am a personable guy and I like talking with people prior. And I feel like that gives them a sense of like, okay, I know more of who you are as well as the character. But self-tape, it's just, hi, my name's Vince Hill-Bedford, going out for the role of blank. And then.
It's crazy. I've heard both. And I think sometimes maybe self-taping would work for some people. And then, like you said, you want to be in the room. I would prefer to be there,
I like the pressure of it, but self-tape is awesome too, because you have so many opportunities to redo it. You can redo it until it's perfect, send it off. But in the audition room, you got to nail it that one or two times. They might give you two chances if you mess up, but pressure on, and you gotta nail it. And that's what I like. I love under the pressure.
Do you now, between projects, do you stay in acting class? Is that something that you kind of keep consistent?
Yeah, I'm not in an acting class right now. So when I moved here, I was in an acting class for like 2.5, 3 years for 4 nights a week. So I kind of had that as like my college and my mindset. And then got out of it. Probably should be in an acting class. Everyone should probably just be in an acting class. Keep it going. But no, I keep him, my coach, for like big auditions that I have. So I'll work with him. So I'll just text him if I need help with a big audition, and then I'll go in, work with him for like an hour, and then just tape it, send it off. But that's it for right now. My best acting class is on set, to be honest. That's where I've learned absolutely everything. And so nailing.
Well, they say, like spending time in the situation, doing 10,000 hours of anything will make you an expert at it. So
absolutely,
being around it and probably just watching other actors, other performers do their craft and how it all comes together, it has to give you just as much insight as, let's say, going to class every week.
Oh yeah, even more so, because I'm watching, I'm not just watching actors now. I'm watching, what the DP's doing. I'm watching what the director's doing. I'm watching what everyone's doing. And it's fun to see the symphony that's going on that makes this whole mess at one point work into become a beautiful project. Because every set you go on, and it's going to be a mess. I'm going to tell you, there's things that happen and you got to adjust, and it doesn't go according to plan all the time. So it's a fun game you got to play, but the end result is awesome. It's making a movie, making a show. That's
making a show.
Cool. Yeah.
Making a show. Well, Vince, I have one more question for you.
Yes.
Because you're in this situation right now. And as I said, you're young, you're acting, you're working. what advice could you give to, let's say, someone who wants to come out to LA and pursue the same kind of career as you? What advice, if someone's brand new and doesn't know what to do, what do they do?
I would say, yes, get into acting class. But really it all comes down to, I think, who you are as a person. I think the biggest lesson I learned is to really not give a shit about what people think. Like, seriously, if you want to do something, just go do it, because people are going to talk about it regardless. Like, I'm from Iowa. No one in my family did film, television, anything like that. So when I moved out here, I caught a lot of slack, and it kind of like brought my confidence down, because I'm like, no, I'm trying to do something, but you get like all these people saying shit into your ear and whatnot. So I say, yeah, just work your ass off, because everyone else is working just as hard, if not harder. And yeah, believe in yourself and don't give a shit what other people think, especially like going into casting office. Like, go do your audition, do it how you want to. They don't like it, they don't like it. It's okay. That's your artistic choice.
But at the same time, maybe you give them a different perspective, a different look at what it could be.
Yeah.
And then you got the role.
Exactly. There you go. So like, just be you. And it sounds so silly to just be yourself, but be your truest self, I should say. Yeah. And that's how you'll navigate. Yeah, that's exactly how you navigate. Just work hard, be your truest self, and yeah, be a nice, kind person. That's all.
And be a kind person, and don't give a shit what people think.
Don't give a shit. Yeah,
that is the key to life, Vince. Yeah. That's just the key to life.
Exactly. The subtle art of not giving a F. Yeah.
Exactly. Vince, I got to thank you so much for being here. Thanks for sharing your story with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I mean, like, Adam and I were so elated. Again, it is the most surreal experience to work with someone and get to know them. And, Adam worked with your girlfriend, but to see you on TV, pursuing your dream, but living it at the same time, it's truly remarkable. So we appreciate you. And thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I miss you guys. It was so nice talking to you. And
I miss so much, man.
It's been so much fun. And yeah, I just hope nothing but the best for you guys. I love you both. And yeah, thank you again for having me, man. It's been awesome.
Thank you, Vince. We appreciate it. All right, guys, that was Vince Hill-Bedford. What an amazing talent. What an amazing guy. Such a nice guy, right? And just so inspiring to see a young actor push through, stay motivated. I love that. I love that. And it's a true reminder that, life is short and we have to pursue our dreams. Well, guys, we'll be back with you tomorrow with another episode of Hot Messy Podcast. If you're listening on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your shows, don't forget we have a YouTube channel, which you can watch right here visually and see the same show. And if you're on YouTube and you would prefer an ad-free experience in your ears, head on over to Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your shows, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.